All right, what's good, Knicks Nation? Alex Shateris here, aka the Stratocaster. We are here for the lottery, the watch along. Because guess what? The New York Knicks potentially will get the Dallas Mavericks pick because if Dallas falls out of the top 10, you know who it's coming to? New York Knicks, baby. And how sweet would it be? How sweet would it be to make it to the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs and to get a lottery pick thanks to the Dallas Mavericks? Oh, man, that'd be phenomenal. But before we get into all of that, of course, we got two wonderful gentlemen with me today. We got our very own Chris LeBron from Off the Ball Network, and we got KFTV's very own draft expert, Jeffrey Campbell. Fellas, how you guys doing today?
I'm excited, man. I've been, it's kind of weird because we technically don't have any picks, but it's still a very, nerve-wracking time. So I'm ready. I can't wait. Hopefully the NBA God bless us.
Hopefully, Jeff, how you feeling, man?
Alex, I'm just pumped to join this prayer circle tonight as we hope that the ping pong balls bounce our way and that me and Chris get to talk about the long hard hours we put into watching tons of college basketball this year.
Well, I hope so, man. I hope we get this draft pick as well because you guys do a lot of work into seeing who's the up and coming prospects. And before we get into like any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to share all these videos. Make sure to check out KnicksFanTV.com. And salute to the chat, salute to Knicks Nation, salute to all the mods, the channel members. All right, fellas. Well, let's start it off here. What do the Knicks need? Because there's a lot of players, right? We could talk about everybody left and right, and what could be a good prospect for the Knicks. What do the Knicks need after you watch them this season? I'll start off with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, you can never have enough shooting on your team, right? It's tough to say that the Knicks absolutely need shooting because we have shooters, they just didn't shoot well during the playoffs. If Emmanuel quickly Quentin Grimes shoot closer to their season's averages, maybe we're talking about a different result in the Heat series. Who obviously, if Quickly doesn't get hurt, that could have been a very big factor as well. But on a team where ball handling, creating advantages, shooting is always huge, you can never have enough of that. So guys that can create their own shot and shoot are going to be massive going forward.
Absolutely. Chris, what do you think? What do you think the Knicks need from this draft?
Jeff hit it on the head. We could use definitely some more shooters. We can never have enough shooters. We have, but obviously they didn't do their thing in the playoffs. So definitely can use that. Some wing creators too. Not just wings, but wing guys who can create. Some secondary playmakers. And there's a few of these guys in this draft. Even if they were to go back in the second round, if they don't even get this, there's guys in the second round that you can get. And even some wing defenders too. This is why I've been doing a lot of work with the second round undrafted because there's a lot of guys on the wing that can defend their tails off, and I think they could be perfect needs for us. So, Jeff hit on here, shooters and all that, some wing creators and some wing defender. That two would be the ideal for this team.
Definitely both of those type of qualities that we definitely need from players based on what we saw this playoff season, even during the regular season, right? Because the Knicks, they weren't that great at shooting the three ball during the regular season. As you know, they ranked 19th throughout the regular season, shooting 35.4. Whoa, hold on. 35.4% from downtown. And once we got to the playoffs, that thing cratered, right? We didn't see this team shoot the three ball at all whatsoever. They were last out of all teams shooting from behind the perimeter with a 29.2%. So if we can get some more shooting in here, that'd definitely be great for this team. And the question is, if the Knicks do get this pick, would we expect them to draft or we expect them to move it to try to go get a player? Because this is a team that has punted on previous draft picks, right? And this is a team that is looking to compete now. They just exceeded expectations this season by getting to the second round. So what do you guys think? Chris, I'll start off with you. Do you think the Knicks would keep this draft pick or do you think they would trade it?
I think it's a trade piece, and it may be the piece that gets us maybe potentially that guy that, that big target we want. So that's why I feel like this is very important, because you add this to a trade package, the 11th, 12th pick, that's a big, that can be the, that could be the piece that gets the trade done, so
Mhm.
this, I don't think, just the way they're moving, I don't think this is a pick that they would keep. They could trade down potentially, because they've done that before, especially with Leon taking over. But I feel like this is a piece that they're definitely going to add in the trade along with all the other picks we have in the next coming years. This could be the piece that can get, whatever player target, star player they want. That could be the piece that gets them, that guy they want.
Now, Jeff, what do you think? Do you think they'd keep it this year, or do you think they would trade it?
I agree with Chris. I think it's a pick that gets traded. Um, but I think it offers them flexibility because they lose a protected first in the deal for hot Josh Hart. You can recoup some of that back by using this pick to get you future picks, whether it's later in this draft or in a draft in a future date. So, yeah, man, I think it offers them a lot of flexibility.
See, I'm going to go a little different. I think they could actually draft somebody this season because this year, because we look at some of the guys on this team. We look at someone like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, even Miles McBride. They're going into the last years of their contract, and you think for a team that needs to add some depth at one of these positions, especially if you guys are talking about on the wing, maybe this will be a year they actually decide to draft somebody, keep that youth, continue that development. Especially, this is considered a deep draft. I mean, let's pivot to that. Do you guys think this is a deep draft, or is this been all overhyped?
I think it's a deep draft. I don't think it's deep in terms of star level, but and I think Chris will agree with this too. I think you have players in both rounds that are going to be really solid rotational players going forward. Even some of the really young players, the 19-year-old freshmen. I think there are some of those even in the second round. A guy like Amari Bailey is somebody who I'm thinking of from UCLA, a really stout defender, played well for them this year. He could fit a need in a rotation right off the bat. So I definitely see it as a deep draft with talent on multiple levels.
Chris, what say you? Do you think this is a deep draft?
I think when we think of drafts, we just think of the top picks and all that, and that's how we base drafts off, like, as far as blue chips and all that. But I think this is a draft where you can definitely get some really quality, good players, especially in the wing, late rounds. So, at the top, there's this, obviously we know Victor and there's Scoot, and then obviously, you can, whether you like the Thompson twins or, Cam Whitmore or whatever, those guys, in that second category and all that. But yeah, I think you can get some very good pieces that are going to be, 10-year pros, even late, So, when people said this draft isn't deep or whatever, it's deep in good talent. Blue chippers, there's a couple. Obviously, we know the top two, but, you can get a lot of good talent late. And that's where where I'm watching. We know the top. It's whatever. We all know about those guys, but it's trying to find the guys in the 35 to 60 range and trying to figure out which guys are going to be the ones that are going to be, potential, key pieces on the rotation. So that's the fun part of evaluating guys.
Alex,
And
I
one,
wanted to real quick, but
Mhm.
to your point and what you were saying about um, keeping the draft pick and maybe selecting someone in the lottery, if you do that, I could definitely it would definitely be a signal that we would have to consolidate some of our young guys moving forward, whether it's McBride or something like that, reset the rookie deal so that we don't have to make tough decisions about committing to some guys later. So you'll know a lot in terms of, because if you're going to invest in a lottery pick, you got to play him. You don't want to have a situation like an Obi Toppin where he starts to play well and he's behind Julius Randle. His minutes are capped at 12 or 13 or 15 a night. And, there's all of these, kind of unanswered questions about what he can do on a basketball court for 35 minutes or so, and how that contributes to winning. So, if they decide to draft someone, it's a pretty um, significant step in terms of maybe it's spelling the end of days for some of the other younger guys on our team.
Yeah, absolutely. And salute to Knicks Nation. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. We are here for the watch along lottery extravaganza tonight. So let's see if the Knicks can go get this Dallas Mavericks pick. If not, maybe the Knicks can make a move, get somewhere in the late lottery, or even not even the late lottery, I should say, the late first round, and get somebody. And look at that, ESPN right now keeping tabs on this Dallas Mavericks pick because they know it could go to the New York Knicks. Everyone in the chat right now, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this front office would trade if they get the pick between 11 to 14? Do you think they would trade it or keep it? I want to know some of your responses in the chat right now. Okay, guys. We're here. They're showing us all the executives, all the people representing every team right now. Who do you guys think will get the #1 overall pick? What team? I'm going to start with you.
I think the Blazers are gonna get it.
Ooh.
Gonna go with the Trailblazers, and I feel like if they do get it, that's going to for me it means it's the end of the Dame era. In Portland. I feel like they get that. They have their piece. They already got Shade and Sharp there. Anthony Simons. I feel like they're gonna be like Dame. Even if Dame is like, nah, I want to rock with you guys. I feel like they're gonna be like, all right, it's time that we part ways. We're gonna treat you right. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna try to find a good trade partner for you. Send you somewhere. That you're gonna be able to contribute, to try to win. And I feel like that's going to be the case. And that's, they'll trade Dame, build around Wemby and Shaden, which is two really good pieces to build around. We saw some flashes with Shaden last year. So I'm going to go with the Portland Trailblazers that they're going to get the #1 pick.
Okay. Jeff, who do you think is going to get it?
Spurs are where my money is going. It's kind of a boring pick, but I just have a feeling they're going to get it. I don't know what this does to Pop and his decisions to continue to coach or not coach, but I just have a weird feeling he's going to end up in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Wemby it's either Wemby's going to Portland, that's what Chris is saying, or Wemby's going to San Antonio. All right, looks like they're getting ready here to reveal who is going to get what position in this NBA draft lottery. And there's the guy that we all hate, Mark Tatum. Always constantly giving us pain and misery. But come on, Mark. Let's change this for today. Ooh, 14 going to the Pelicans. Okay.
Chalk right now.
It's chalk.
13th pick. Going to the Raptors. All right.
Okay, still chalk.
Still chalk, yeah.
12th pick is going to OKC.
Chalk still.
Ooh, I'm getting nervous, baby. I'm getting nervous. The 11th pick. Come on, baby.
Come on.
Going to the Orlando Magic. I'm blessed. Ooh, and Dallas stays at 10.
Of course they do.
Dallas keeps their pick. That is brutal. That's tough.
Yeah.
Straight chalk.
But the 9th pick goes to the Jazz. I'm going to keep calling this. Jazz get the 9th pick. All right.
Everything has been straight so far.
Yeah, nothing has really changed.
When did they take a break? At the 5th pick? When they do the top 5
Yep.
and they go to commercial break? Yeah.
Yep. Wizards getting the 8th pick.
Everything. No luck in the ping pong balls for anybody right now trying to move up.
Pacers getting the 7th pick. Wow, there is no movement whatsoever in this lottery. What is going on?
Kind of wild.
Halliburton didn't bring him any luck.
Orlando Magic. Look at that.
Chalk still.
And now they're gonna break.
Who's the
Or,
5th
no, they
pick?
break. They break for the top 3. Actually, I think.
Yeah.
The
That's what-
Pistons get the 5th.
Whoa!
Oh, that's changed. That's a game changer.
So
That
that
means either for the top 4, that means Portland, Charlotte, San Antonio, or Houston's gonna.
Chris's
This is where
Portland
it all
pick will
comes.
be
This is where
good.
it's getting interesting now. This is getting interesting. Now it's getting interesting.
Pistons fans are sick to their stomach.
I
I
am.
mean, I wouldn't
You,
do that.
you
That's
have no
rough.
idea. The sink in my stomach watching that happen is
But Chris,
terrible.
don't get me wrong. I mean, listen, yeah, of course you want Victor, but pairing Jaden Ivey with one of the Thompson twins,
You know, it's my theory.
what?
I think, I think Brandon Miller falls. I think Cam
Okay.
Thompson bump him. I just
Okay.
the feeling. This is what I've been hearing. I just feel like, especially with the jaw stuff happening and Miller's history, I think teams might be a little scared, and
Right.
it might go with a little bit safer with Cam and Amen. Amen has abundance of talent. Great, the craziest first step I've ever seen. I think his first step is, and he has great passing ability and all that. And Cam Whitmore is special. He's a closer. He makes everything. People were worried about him at the combine because he's like, oh, he's not trying, but yet all his times were like in the top percent, and it was like he's just a effortless athlete. So I could see those two jumping ahead of. So it might be the perfect, that might be a good spot for Detroit, and they might get their guy at 5. That is the best fit.
We shall see. But I know Knicks Nation's upset just like we are right now. So if you want to call in and voice your opinions, we will take some of your calls. So make sure to download the Discord if you haven't. TM, if you are in the chat, please, if you are so kind, to pin the link to the Discord in the chat. And we'll take some of your calls later after the lottery has been all sorted out. We're now waiting for the top 4 picks to see what happens. Could it be Portland, Charlotte, San Antonio, Houston? Who's getting Wemby? Who's getting Scoot? That's what we want to know. That's what we're waiting for at this point. I'm still disgusted, guys. We should have gotten the Dallas pick. Honestly, this is just nonsense. How are you going to allow Mark Cuban? How are you going to allow Mark Cuban to just in front of your face tank, and then all you do is just slap him with a minuscule fine that's like for him is chump change? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
It's a joke, especially when you consider what Miami did getting into the play-in and the success they had in the playoffs. You're telling me Luka and Kyrie and company couldn't, stage some type of run like that with the talent that they have? It's completely ridiculous, but man, I never expect us to get lucky in any type of situation where we need it. So, whatever.
Oh, it's not rigged. Like people say, oh, it's rigged. It's like, no, it's not rigged. Look we haven't been blessed in a long time with the draft. It's if it was going to be rigged, it would have been rigged in 2019 when the Lakers and Knicks had 3 and 4. It's tough, but you know what? We'll figure it out. We're going to try to figure it out. There's still talent, even in the second round and undrafted that you can, with the talent that's coming in, like you might be able to get, like a late, first round, second round pick as an undrafted free agent. That's how much talent there is. So, you can still get some play. Obviously, it stinks not getting a lottery pick, someone that we can use or trade for, but that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
You handle it better than I am, Chris. I can't tolerate this right now. We should have gotten that. We should have gotten that lottery pick just to make it should have been the cherry on top for the season, man. It should have been the cherry on top for the season. Nasty business. You're telling me Luka and Kyrie could have done some damage? 2 superstars on one team.
Alex, the other thing that's killing me is like, think about how long ago it was that Kristaps Porzingis got traded. And we can't even get the first freaking pick from that draft conveyed to us yet. Like, God, man, like
Taking forever, man.
Taking forever, man. Taking forever.
Taking forever. Come on now. Can we please
don't
get
wrong.
something?
We've benefited from that trade already in certain ways, but still, I mean, would love to have that pick at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to have that pick. Make sure to call in through the Discord so we know who's upset, who's happy. In the chat right now, let me know if you're upset or happy. On a scale of 1 to 5, let me know. If you're okay, if you think you're fine, if we're great, we don't need this draft pick, throw a 5 in the chat. If you're upset, if you're disgusted, throw a 1 in this chat right now. I need to know how Knicks Nation is feeling because I'm sick, man. I'm sick. I really wanted to get this draft pick. I just I wanted to stick it to Cuban one more time, man. Just like we got Brunson, and we got your pick.
That would have
Come on.
been perfect. Would have been perfect, but
Because, come on, guys. This guy went on ESPN talking to Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, been like, "Oh, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna get titles." Like talking up that team so much, and look where they are right now. Come on, man.
Right now, Chris and mine's prediction is oh no, not
Oh
anymore.
no.
Third.
Oh.
Charlotte or San Antonio. Oh, he was right.
There it is. 4 is going to the Rockets, 3 to the Trailblazers, 2 to the Hornets, and 1 to the San Antonio Spurs.
Wow.
The Spurs get it.
Spurs got it.
Look at that. The San Antonio Spurs are going to get Wemby. They won the Wemby sweepstakes.
Wow.
Wow. This man flew up Mark Tatum for the hug and the dap.
Wow. You get David Robertson, Tim Duncan, now you get Wemby.
That franchise, they just keep getting blessed. They just keep getting blessed.
Absolutely.
The last 2 number 1 picks did pretty well.
Look at MSG's Monica McNutt out there making us proud.
Oh.
Number 1 pick.
Well, there we have it. Hey, Chris, if you could just move back. I think we get a little bit of feedback from your mic. Well, there we have it. You got the Spurs with the 1, Hornets with the 2, Trailblazers with the 3, Rockets with 4, Pistons with 5, Magic with 6, Pacers with 7, Wizards with 8, Jazz with 9, Mavericks with 10. You got the Magic again with 11, Thunder with 12, Raptors with 13, Pelicans with 14. Well, there's your lottery, folks. The Knicks did not get the Dallas Mavericks pick this year. Well, that just means we got to wait till next year to hopefully that it conveys. That's where we're at right now. All right. It is what it is.
The pro Knicks tank crowd is going to be really heavy today because they're going to be like, we should have tanked. You look what happened. The Spurs tanked. They got the number 1 pick. You know that's going to be the talk for sure.
Be though. Do you think so? Because look, we just made it to the second round. I mean, we just had some competitive basketball that we haven't seen in a long time. You found out that Jalen Brunson's a superstar, in my opinion. A lot of good things this year. You saw RJ show up in the playoffs. You got your youth that's developing. I think there's enough to push back. Be like, it's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay.
You know how some people are. They're gonna be like, no, we could have, for the next 5 years, we could have had this guy. I saw it already. I'm like, we're gonna start with that already, guys. Come on.
Is what it is, man. Is what it is. So who do you think? Man, Scoot going 2 or Scoot going?
No, I mean, I think its team could trade up for him too. He's gonna be wanted, so I think those are the top 2 picks, regardless.
Man, him and Melo in Charlotte's pretty serious.
Yeah, and like I said, Charlotte could trade down and get some more picks as they need a lot.
They do.
They need a lot, so they can, and teams are going to want to trade up for Scoot, so they can get a lot for that pick. So that could be something. So
yes, son from Brooklyn, I am. I wanted this pick so bad.
Yeah,
wanted this pick so bad. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just disgusted. All right.
Where do you move this thing along? I was gonna say, where do you think Wemby wanted to go, or wants to go?
Where does Wemby want to go?
Yeah. Or where do you know what I'm saying? Like, what team would he have preferred to get the number 1 pick?
Houston. It's because it's a very diverse area and all that. I think they would have embraced them a lot.
Yeah.
I think Houston
is a good spot too, man. That's true basketball city right there. Ain't too bad.
It's just very dull. Like they've always been dull, and like people care about their brand and all that. So, especially with Houston, they're trying to win. They're trying with Ime, and even though they had a disastrous season and all that, but he'll feel right. I mean, Pop's still there. They have the infrastructure. They know how to they know how to their player development is very great. I mean, Jeremy Sochan was, I think a lot of people were kind of down on him last year, going into the draft, and he wound up being a very good surprise and all that. So they got some good young pieces there. You add him there, and you know they've had the number one pick a few times, and it's worked out well for them. So that's it's going to be a good spot for him.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still seething. Still seething over here. Still seething.
Alex is
I am irritated. I am absolutely irritated. But the show must go on. The show must go on. All right, guys.
Gotta keep pushing.
Now,
Man.
we know the Knicks aren't going to get the Mavericks pick. Highly unlikely that they can trade into the lottery just because, as you guys talked about, how deep this draft is. All these teams that are in the lottery, they need players. I mean, you're looking at Orlando, Portland, Charlotte, all these teams, right? OKC can still use more talent, even though they made the plan this year. Toronto could use talent because they didn't play up to expectations. Dallas needs talent, so I don't see them doing anything with that pick except drafting somebody. So let's look at the remainder of the first round outside of the lottery. Are there any teams that you would expect to trade with the Knicks or that you're looking at to try to get in? Because, well, it's actually, let me rephrase that. Let's say the Knicks are able to trade into the back half of the lottery, right? And I'm looking at Indiana right now. They got 3 draft picks in this year's draft. They got the 7th pick, you got the 26th pick, and the 29th pick. Maybe the Knicks can do a deal with them, get into around that range of the first round. If the Knicks are able to get somewhere around there, who are you looking at to draft if you're New York?
In that late.
Chris, you want to go first or me?
And like that, you can go first.
I mean, if I'm going around the 25 and past range, I mean, so I'll put 2 names out there. I don't care if we have guards. These are 2 guys that I love. One of my favorite guys from last year's draft. He tested out the waters in the combine, decided to pull his name out. Marcus Sasser from Houston. I love this guy. His shot creation is great. Can break down the defense. I think he improved his draft stock a little bit from last year. He's a smart player. He comes from Houston's program, so fans will know Quentin Grimes came from there. They're going to breed tough, smart players that play defense. Another guy that is another really talented shot maker, Terquavion Smith, North Carolina State. A guy who can really fill it up, can shoot from anywhere on the court. Is also very talented, can break down the defense as well. He actually improved a little bit, I think, in terms of finishing through contact and getting to the rim. With a lot of your smaller guards or young guys that are coming out of college, of course, defense is an area that people are going to have to improve in, but you're going to live with that if they can kind of really give life to your second unit or fill in with some of the starters when they kind of stagger lineups. So those are 2 guys that I really like. Chris, what about you?
Some guys I would like late if they were to get late first round. I know he's very a polarizing player, and this is a guy I have as a top 10 player, but I could see him dropping because of some things that a lot of teams don't like with his on-court stuff. But Gigi Jackson, I see a lot of people in the chat really like Gigi, but he's a guy. Now I think he's going to be gone because I think he's really improved his his stock with a lot of his interviews. So he's done really well with that. But I think he's a guy that could potentially drop. And if that's someone, I feel like that's a guy that we could definitely look at. Another guy, Maxwell Lewis, is a guy I really liked. He was a hot name early in the season, and he definitely cooled off because, playing at Pepperdine, there wasn't a lot of talent. Teams were focusing on him. So his numbers dipped, field goal percentage, shooting and all that, but I feel like he's a player wing, 6'7", 6'8", that could shoot, that could score. I like him a lot in that range. Also, like Colby Jones, Xavier's another guy that I really like. Just a guy who could glue in, could shoot and all that. Like I said, Marcus Sasser's another good one that I like a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of guys. Chris Murray, there's a few guys that we can still get if we were able to get in that back end of that first round. Indiana got a few picks there. We can maybe, wiggle something with them. that we can get. We can still get a good player, and even though we wound up getting the lottery pick, there's still a lot of good names that we can get, especially on the wing, that could really help. Leonard Miller too, another one from the G League. He put his name in last year. I had him as a top 30 guy. He pulled out. He's another one he's raw, but there's a lot of potential. 6'11" and all that. He can get to the rim at will. I think there's shooting potential with him, so that's another name that I like a lot.
Chris, what do
I
you
got
think?
got Big Surge in the chat. Shout out to you, Surge, for being a channel member. He's saying Derek Whitehead
Yeah,
and
I was
Leonard Miller are other names
Yeah,
that he likes.
Tariq he just had surgery, so his thing was his health. Because you look at him in high school, you're like, oh my god, like he is just he got so much talent. You saw his bag and everything. He's athletic, and that's the thing I worry is that are we going to see the athletic ability there at the next level? Because if he doesn't have that, then I kind of worry. That's why I feel like he's a guy that could drop to the second round because of the injuries and all that inconsistencies and all that. And he's, you know, he just didn't fit at Duke with that system and all that. So extremely talented and all that, but I could see him dropping maybe late first, second round. So if we can be able to get in the second round, we can get a Derek Whitehead in the second round. That would be a good fit. Put him in the G League, let him get healthy, let him recover. He might even see him this year. Just let him recover from the injuries and then get him for a sophomore year. I think that could be an ideal situation.
Played at the
Mhm.
same high school as RJ.
Mm.
Uh, and Jalen Hood Shafino, who's probably a lottery pick, but if he dropped, that'd be another name to watch. I like Whitehead a lot too, man. The talent is definitely there. If he's healthy, a 6'6" guy that can, really has good handle, can shoot off the dribble. Had a decent NCAA tournament as well. One of those games he really kind of led Duke. So yeah, man, if he's healthy, he's a talented pick for sure.
And just so everyone who's coming into the show late, and salute to Knicks Nation, salute to all the channel members, salute to the mods, tune into the live watch along to the NBA lottery. The Knicks did not get the Dallas Mavericks pick. Unfortunately, the Mavericks held at 10. So we'll have to wait until next year to hope for it to hopefully convey. So, guys, just to recap who you guys would like if the Knicks were somehow able to trade in the back end of the first round. Jeff, your guys were.
Yeah, Marcus Sasser, Terquavion Smith, two guards that I feel like could really add to the Knicks' depth for sure. Whitehead, someone that Chris mentioned is someone that I would really like as well.
And Chris, your guys were?
Maxwell Lewis and Gigi Jackson. Those would be
Maxwell Lewis, Gigi Jackson. Okay, okay.
crazy with
Well,
those two.
hopefully the Knicks can trade into the back end of the first and get somebody, because I'm looking at it as this team is going to need to add, like I said earlier, this team will need to add some players, especially when you got Quickly, who's due for an extension. You got Obi Toppin, who's due for an extension. And Miles McBride, this is the last year of his contract. It'll just be interesting. It'll just be interesting because you're going to have to reset some rookie skill contracts, right? And you don't want to have that same issue that we saw years ago when it was a 2012 2013 season. You didn't have enough young guys. They were able to just mix in with some vets, guys in the middle who are young but still seasoned enough, been around the league for a good amount of time, and then rookies or younger players to have that good balance, because you still need that energy. You want to be able to make sure that you can continue to develop talent for when someone leaves. So let's see if the Knicks can maybe trade, because they traded their what would have been the 23rd pick based on how they finished the season to the Portland Trailblazers in the Josh Hart trade. So that is out. The Knicks don't have any first round picks whatsoever this year, and they don't have any second round picks either.
Ah,
No
pickless.
no second round picks either. So if the
Pickless.
Knicks decide to stay quiet, nobody, absolutely nobody, which is weird. This is kind of weird considering this is a team that is, you know, has either trade like it's weird in the sense that we didn't trade all these draft picks for like one player. Like we're trading for like quality role players, and it's not like, oh, when do we get the next pick? And it's also weird because we almost traded the last 2 years, so we haven't really seen anyone come through. And I guess that might have been to the fact that you think about drafting quickly, Toppin, Sims, Grimes, McBride, and Rokas, that they're probably like, that's enough young guys for Tibbs. Probably enough young guys for Tibbs.
It, I don't know. I was upset that they didn't draft anyone last year. I was really upset.
Sure.
You know, like I said, I like draft picks. I feel like that's how you build. And you just gotta hope that it doesn't come to backfire on us. You know, It's-
Hopefully.
I mean, they had a plan. It's funny at the time I didn't agree with it, but trading back and I mean, what we traded back like 2 or 3 times last year, but they clearly wanted to shed salary. Moving Burks with some picks as well to try and get Jalen Brunson. That was a great move for sure. But generally speaking, it's hard to see us move out of positions where there's talent. Like I know there was a bunch of guys that we could have had last year that I would have been interested to see kind of what they would look like in a Knicks uniform and how they could develop with us. But ultimately, I think this team has a goal to get a bigger prize, whether that is to shoot for the moon and try and get a star via trade, or to get some more complementary pieces that fit the current roster. That's why I expect this pick to be trade. I mean, I'm sorry, not the pick to be traded, but just for look at me, look at me. I'm trying to wish into existence that Dallas got the 11th pick and that we'd have some more prospects to talk about, or at least some more flexibility things to talk about. But either way, they're trying to shore up this roster with probably some type of veteran presence to make sure that the Miami Heat series doesn't happen again.
We'll see. We'll see. Who's going to play in Summer League?
Jericho
Maybe,
saying
maybe finally Rokas Jakubitis. I mean, I have not seen this guy in how long, so I really couldn't, I couldn't tell you what he's doing, but maybe he's finally gonna come over. Who knows?
The baby dragon. He says he emulates his game after Goran Dragic. That'd be nice. Be a change of pace to see him back because we haven't seen him since what was that? What year was that? What year was 2021? We haven't seen him since 2021 in Summer League.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice. That'll be interesting.
It's weird because I'm so used to seeing all right who the Knicks are gonna draft, first round, late first round, lottery, second round. It's like I haven't even been invited to any community mocks representing the Knicks. I'm like, they're like, yo, go. We usually invite you, but the Knicks have no picks, so we don't know us, and like now we don't have picks, so it's like all right, just got to get some undrafted free agents,
It's like feeling naked. You're like, wait a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. I
Like-
need to be part of these things. I can't be part of these things anymore.
It's weird because it's like you can't even my board, it's all right. What range? People usually ask me, "Oh, we think the Knicks." It's like, well, right now you got to look at outside the top 70 or whatever to look for that could be there, So it's
Hey,
like,
but you know what? The Heat did that. They found gems, whether it was late second round or undrafted. There's no reason we can't do that with Walt Perrin.
yeah,
He's talented enough. Our scouting staff is talented enough. They should be able to find somebody. If we don't, consolidate resources and try to move for something else.
oh for
Maybe
sure
the Knicks could buy some second round picks.
that they can.
As John Talento said in the chat, maybe they could buy some second round picks. Shout out to John Talento for being, I believe he's a channel member as well. Shout out to you, John Talento.
The tough thing these days with buying picks is I feel like teams are hesitant to give up their spot. That's the only thing. Like I feel like back in like I don't know, the early 2000s, I used to hear about that all the time. You could just buy a pick. You could just buy a second round pick, cash considerations, whatever it is. But I feel like I know it still happens, but I just feel like not as frequent as it used to be.
Yeah, you got to go to teams that have like high, are deep, are close to the luxury tax. So like you got to
Right.
look at Clippers, Lakers, teams like that got high. They got a lot of high salary guys. So you got to look at teams like that are trying to get rid of their picks, so they don't add any more, cap to their, to their roster. So I think those, I think in the late 40s with the Lakers and the Clippers, you could probably try to, Suns. You could try to, finagle something with those three teams, maybe.
Do the Warriors have any second round picks? I mean, they're going to be looking at their books because, you got Draymond over there that you got to keep.
2 forfeited picks, so there's only 58 picks this year. because of the 2 forfeited picks
Right.
from the Sixers and I believe the Bulls.
Wait, Alex, you asked for first round or second round?
Second round.
Nothing. Yeah, I think they have their first round pick
Yeah,
this
they
year,
have a 19 in the first round, but
which could be a target too if that's something the Knicks are trying to look at. If they want to get a piece, they could, because the Warriors are trying to get rid of Cap. They're trying. Their owner even said they're trying to shed Cap. So that's a team you could look at in the first round that you could try to, work some out if you want to get in the first round and get someone.
We got a $5 super chat from Jay Boogie. He said, check my phone. He put $100 on the Spurs for the #1 pick. He said he shared that with me at 7:53, and I hit it. I got some summer league money now. Shout out to you, Jay Boogie. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Don't got my phone with me right now. It is on silent, but I will definitely check it out when I get that chance.
Man, Alex is so stressed that we didn't get.
I am still bothered.
I'm
still bothered, man. Come on.
They should have blessed us at least this year, man. At least
Come
I think.
on, man. You're telling me it's always either the Knicks drop, and you're telling me that we can't even be on the benefiting end of a trade to get some a first round pick with lottery protections now. I'm bothered, man. Bothered. Absolutely bothered.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just how it's life of being a Knicks fan. It's just that I went into this and expecting that. And so if you went in with that, then this doesn't bother you as much. It's
always a little bit of hope, Chris. There's always a little bit of hope. All right.
Now me and Jeff got to talk about our boards from 70 to 100 and see what guys are gonna get summer league invites.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to consolidate and partner write some pieces for KnicksFanTV at this point.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Games too. So that's the I got guys that I feel like that they'll bring it to camps of bigs and all that, but I gotta get rid of that top 20 board for the Knicks.
Could we trade with Charlotte maybe? Because they're gonna have 2 picks. That one it will go from Denver to Charlotte. So maybe we can get that one. Who knows? Yeah, 2 picks.
Are you talking about what in the first round?
Yeah, they have a first round pick from Denver that they have. So I mean, like I said, that's probably if the Knicks are going to try to get in the first round, you're gonna have to talk with Charlotte. You're gonna have to talk with the Clippers, who have I think the last pick, and like I said, Pacers have their lottery pick and 2 late first. So those are the teams you're gonna probably try to go after. If there's a player that's dropping that they feel like is worthy of moving up to, they haven't shown that. They kind of been afraid the last few years to move up to get a guy they like. So I don't know if that's in their cards. They kind of move back down in the draft, and they move significantly down too. So, I think they'll get a second round pick out at worst. I don't know if they'll get in the first round. I think the second round that they might, because there could be some guys, especially some wing defenders that they could definitely use. So and some shooters. So
I would say
who in the second round would you guys like?
Second round? Let me get in here. Let me get in here.
So I got one guy in particular I absolutely love. It's Kevin McCullough from Kansas. Like he's not a shooter. Okay, so he shot like 29%, but I feel like he could get in the low 30s, but that's not what I don't even care about that. It's the defense. He could switch 1 through 4. It's some 5s, today's 5s and all that, but he's locked down. He locked down Keontae. He locked down a lot of Keontae Joyce, Keontae Johnson. He locked down some of the best wings in the Big 12. He's someone that's just in my fave 5, like guys you just have to have on your roster. And he's someone that I feel like he would fit into the Knicks perfectly. He's a Tibbs guy. If you wanted to, I think the Garden will. I feel like he's someone that could be an impact player. And also like Andre Jackson too from UConn is another one I like. Kind of fits that same kind of like that Josh Hart type. That can do all the little way the dirt. Big reason why UConn won really big reason why UConn won the national championship. So those are some guys that I like that that you can definitely get in that second round if they're in that mid 40s range. Amari Bailey's another one. He had a solid combine too. He was someone people thought would probably be maybe not get drafted. Solid combine. I feel like he definitely could be around that range if you want a guard that you want to develop in the next few years.
Okay, more defense. Let's go.
I'll throw two guys out there. I'm gonna stay Kansas with Chris's McCullough pick, and I'm gonna go Jalen Wilson, who I liked a lot this year. Played really well in big games, which I think does matter, and matters specifically to the Knicks front office. They like guys that compete. They like guys that compete specifically when the lights are the brightest. And Chris took it a little bit. I mentioned him a little bit earlier, but Amari Bailey, man, I like him a lot. You know, he was really impressive to me defensively. For a young guy on a really good UCLA team, I thought that he fit in, but also found his spots, when to be aggressive and when to not be aggressive really well. Thought he shot the ball, at least his shooting mechanics and form were pretty good to me. And defensively, when you have the tools that he has, I find that that's very, very difficult to teach. So Amari Bailey, Jalen Wilson, if we were to somehow figure our way into the second round, later half of the second round, I think those are two guys that I would look at.
I have one more name.
All right.
And don't look at it. People are gonna look at his stats and be like, Chris, what are you talking about? But Tristan Vucevic, you look, he's 6'11". You know, he played in Real Madrid. You're gonna look at the minutes per, and you'll be like, Chris, what are you talking about? He's playing 15 minutes, 14 minutes a game. But when he plays in those 15 minutes, he's really good. He can shoot the ball really well. It's a stretch big and all that. I think he could develop. He can eventually be a shot blocker and all that, interior and all that, and really do some damage. But the shooting for a stretch big, 6'11", I think is what I really like from him. I liked him last year. I had him top 40 as a last year. So I've been on the Tristan Vucevic train for a long time. Like I said, doesn't get a lot of minutes, so people are gonna be like, no, wow, but when you watch him play, you're like, okay, he could stretch the floor, he could shoot and all that. Shot a high percentage when he was in the game, shot a high percentage for three when he plays. So Tristan Vucevic in that if you can in that range, would be to me worth a flyer if the Knicks were to get in that second round range. So that's a name for people to remember.
Any relation to the Vucevic already in the league?
I don't believe so. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I believe so.
Okay. Well, Knicks Nation, we're gonna wrap it here because as these guys are still excited for the draft and how things will play out, I am still angry and need to go throw my remote against the wall because we did not get this Mavericks pick. But salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to all of you for tuning in for this watch party, this watery watch party. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to check out KnicksFanTV.com. Chris, Jeff, I'm going to start with Chris. Chris, if you got anything coming up, please let the listeners know where they can find you and any of your upcoming material.
Yeah, so you can follow me off the ball pod. That's where I'm most active. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all that. I'm going to be doing a lot of draft stuff. Obviously, I'm going to, have a bunch of draft guys on the show in the next, coming weeks. Now we have the order, do some live mock drafts and all that, dive into some potential late picks and undrafted guys that the Knicks can maybe get. So, check out Off the Ball Pod. Everything's there. So just check me out on Twitter there.
All righty. And then Jeff, let the listeners know where they can find you.
Jeff Boyardee at Twitter, rambling about the Knicks and everything going on with Knicks Twitter. Might have something Tibbs related coming down the pike for Knicks Fan TV in a little bit. Anything draft related will be for Knicks Fan TV as well.
So make sure you go check out Jeff's work at KnicksFanTV.com. And once again, salute to Knicks Nation and salute to all of you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Salute to all the mods. Salute to the channel members. Salute to everyone that tuned in today so that we could be angry or however you feel today after watching Mark Tatum once again hurting us indirectly this time. Thanks for nothing, Mark. Thanks for nothing. All right, Knicks Nation. We'll catch you later. We out.